Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today I'd like us to talk about the precautions to take during rainy season. Here in Kenya it is heavily raining, and especially in the coastal region of Kenya. I've seen people losing property because of the rains. People have been displaced because of these rains, roads destroyed, and even deaths reported. For instance, there's a case where a Form 4 student, a high school student who had just finished her paper, got electrocuted when she was walking on the rains. Very unfortunate. May her soul rest in peace, and may God comfort the family during this time. So it is raining heavily, and it is good to take precaution. So let's go along and see what I've prepared for you. I have prepared like 10 tips for this. So welcome everyone, and let's start. First, we need to avoid walking in the water or in the rains. We need to stay away from the rain at whatever cost. Don't step on or don't walk in the stagnant water that you see on the roads, because these pools of water could be containing microorganisms. So the moment you walk into this, you could also be predisposing yourselves to these microorganisms. These could be fungal infections or the viral infections, and it has very devastating effects to those who are diabetic. The also problem of walking on this water, you never know whether you are walking on a manhole, and with the increasing rains, the covers to these manholes could also be weakened or even has been swept away. So you can be stepping on water thinking that this is just water, but you could end up stepping on a manhole, and then becomes a disaster for you. And if you have to walk on the rains, then you should wear your gumboots. And in case you get into contact with this water, because the water that we are seeing is mixed with sewage, you never know where this water that is flowing even on the roads, where this water is coming from. Maybe it has swept a sewage somewhere, a septic tank somewhere, or a cesspit somewhere. So it is mixed. This water is mixed with sewage. So if it happens that you get into contact with this water, then immediately when you get home, it is good to wash your feet with soap and clean warm water, or just take a hot shower. Remember, this contamination, the oral contamination, can lead even to other diseases like cholera. So this is a time that we also see or witness upsurge of waterborne diseases like the cholera. So it is just good to take precaution and also observe the infection prevention and control measures. The other precaution is to not to touch electric wires. Let us stay away from these electric wires, especially the ones that are either falling or the ones that are fallen. Like I've given an example of a Form 4 student who had just finished her exams that was electrocuted by a wire that she did not see. So those are wires that had fallen in the water, but nobody was seeing them. So these wires, they electrocute you because they are live. And if you are electrocuted, chances are that you can end up dying. So in case you see these wires lying in a pool of water, maybe after the rain, it is very important to stay away from them. And those who have vehicles, please do not park your vehicles directly under power line or just next to the utility poles that contain the electrical wires, because remember there are chances of even your vehicle getting the electrical currents, and if you are inside there, chances are that you can even be electrocuted. So if you go to a home where there is a doorbell, when it is raining, it is good to avoid pressing that doorbell, especially if it is not covered. So if it is exposed, you can even be, remember there could be current that are flowing, so if you touch it, chances, and it is raining, chances are that you can also be electrocuted. So avoid ringing the doorbells that are exposed. The switches, if the switches are exposed, please avoid them. And if you have children, please educate them on the importance of staying away from the electrical wires and even poles. And if it is possible, let them stay back at home. Let them stay indoors. And since these wires tend to break during heavy rains and falling, so if you see such, it is advisable that you alert the concerned authorities, those who are concerned with the power supply in your country. Please let them be informed. They have emergency team that can respond to such cases, so just inform them. Don't try to maneuver like pushing those poles away or pushing those electrical lines away by yourself. Call the relevant authorities, they will respond and take care of the situation. Number 3 is to be careful while driving. Those who have vehicles, during these such seasons, we've witnessed a lot of accidents. Drivers trying to rush to beat the rain, thinking that they can drive faster than the rain. So in the process, we've seen accidents taking place. And because of the wet tarmac roads, they are slippery. So overspeeding or even tailgating vehicles that are in front of you is very, very dangerous. I saw this the last 2 days when a smaller vehicle was following a lorry. Just because there was heavy flooding on the road, this driver of the smaller car thought that when the lorry, because of the size, passes through, the lorry was dispersing the water and therefore paving way for the smaller car. This was very dangerous, so avoid such tailgating. So tailgating is just closely following the car that is in front of you. So if the vehicle behind you is tailgating, make sure to put some distance between the two of you. If you are the one in front and you've seen there's a car tailgating you, just try to increase the distance between the two of you. And also avoid making sudden turns, because you never know if the person behind you could even be trying to overtake you. So avoid making any sudden turns if you are the vehicle that is in front. And also be wary of the motorcyclists, because of the wetness of the roads, there are chances that the motorcyclist might skid and fall easily on these roads. So just keep distance between you and the motorcyclist. Be aware of this, that there are chances that they could be skidding, so keep distance between you and the motorcyclist. Also stay away from heavy vehicles, because you never know, they could turn anytime. And remember to turn on your headlights so that any car that is following you or that is near you can see, you can be visible for any other car that is around you. And always remember to check your fuel. If you have enough fuel, check if your brakes are functioning, check the tires if they're in good condition, and even your wipers before you go and driving in such kind of weather condition. Also ensure that all your windows are shut. These are the home windows. make sure they are tightly closed to avoid water dripping or entering your home during the rainfall. And when water is still coming through your windows, make sure to call a carpenter to fix them. Because the water that, like I've said, the water that is entering you could be entering your house, the water from the flood, is mixed with the waste. So if the same water is entering your house, chances are that there will be contamination of the items that are in your house. So make sure that all your windows, your doors are tightly closed. So the water that is also dripping in your house could be even ruining your paints, your floor, and all that. So repairing them could even be costly in the end. The water can also enter your wiring system, thus exposing you and your family to electrocution if you are using these appliances that have been soaked with water that has entered maybe the sockets. You also need to protect your furniture that is placed near the window. If it is not possible to close the windows tightly, then it is better you push your furniture to an area where they cannot be accessed by the dripping water. You can also cover your furniture with plastic sheets to minimize chances of them being damaged by the water that is dripping in your house. Number 5 is to unplug all electronic devices. Make sure that all electronic devices are switched off, or the sockets are switched off, and you unplug them. This is because of the voltage fluctuation and load shedding. Because this voltage is fluctuating, you never know, the voltage can come, there could be chances of high voltage, and this might even end up damaging your electronics. If your wiring gets wet due to humidity or the atmosphere because of the rainwater, it can be dangerous for anyone to touch these appliances if maybe you did not switch them off and water gets into the wiring system. Do not switch on these appliances or do not use them. And if you are in an area that is prone to flooding during heavy rainfall, touching these appliances when they are plugged in can potentially electrocute somebody. In an area that is flooded, there are chances that the walls are also soaked with water. So even your wiring system will get soaked. So do not use these appliances in such a situation. And if it is possible, like I've said, move your electronic appliances as well, just the way we have moved our furniture to a central point where they will not be reached by the water that is dripping in your houses. And remember not to use them as well. Try to keep mosquitoes away as point number 6. We know that mosquitoes lay their eggs in pools of stagnant water during rainy season. So this is the season that provide a perfect breeding ground for these mosquitoes. Mosquitoes, we know they transmit, they are vectors that have the parasites that transmit malaria, dengue fever, or chikungunya. Like where I stay here in Mombasa, we've witnessed a high number of cases of dengue and even chikungunya. So in a place that is infested with mosquitoes, like in the coast region, it is good to take precaution. Take measures that will get rid of mosquitoes or will minimize chances of you getting bitten by mosquito. For instance, using long-lasting insecticide-treated nets. You can also use electronic mosquito repellents or burning the mosquito coils. You can also use insect repellent sprays that have also proven to be working wonders in keeping the mosquitoes away. But remember not to inhale them. You can also wear long-sleeved shirts or sweaters. I also avoid sitting in the dark because they bite in the dark. Then you can also install mosquito screens on your windows as a safety precaution during the rainy season. This one will keep the mosquitoes away. Number 7 is to have an umbrella or a raincoat with you. If you have a car, you can always put this in your car so that when you are leaving from your car, maybe to your office or from the car to your house, you can use an umbrella. If carrying an umbrella appears to be difficult, you can have a raincoat on. And it is advisable to carry your belongings in small plastic pouches during the rainy season. I've seen people carrying their documents, maybe to work, or somebody's going to apply for a job, or somebody's attending an interview. But because it is raining and they did not take that precaution of putting these documents in a plastic bag, these documents end up being rained on and soaked, and eventually they get destroyed. So it is advisable to carry all your belongings, including your phone and even your wallet, in a small plastic pouch that will not provide the chance of being soaked by the water. So number 7 is considered to be one of the simplest safety tips for during the rainy season. Just having an umbrella, having a raincoat, putting your belongings like documents in a small plastic bag. Very simple precaution. Number 8 is to have an emergency kit, because you never know what might happen. You cannot predict these natural disasters. You can also not fight them. So it is always good to be prepared for any worst that might come in. So the checklist of items include clean water. Remember, during the rainy season, the water that we see flowing is normally contaminated with waste. You could also have mosquito repellent creams or gels with you. Have a thermometer to be checking your temperature with, because remember, during the rainy season there are a lot of infections that could take place. And to determine this, or to know whether you have the infection already or not, you can take your vital sign. The temperature is the basic one. So have a thermometer, preferably the digital thermometer. You could also have a first aid bandages with cotton swabs. In case of injuries, you can be able to apply this on the injured part. Then you could also have antiseptic ointments, some essential medicines like paracetamol, the painkillers, or even the antihistamines, because of the chances of allergic reactions or allergic conditions. Should also have non-perishable food items, food that cannot go wrong bad immediately. Should also have battery just for backup for lights and domestic use. Also have extra set of clothes that you are able to change, and even the socks to keep you warm. Number 9 is to have information on the weather pattern. You can access such information either online or from your local dailies, the print or the electronic media. They normally share the weather pattern information. So make sure you have this information with you about the weather forecast, so that you get prepared well for any bad weather that is likely to come in. And because you cannot control the weather or fight it, but it's good to have some early indications of whether it will be sunny or it will be raining heavily. So make sure you have the weather information, the weather forecast information before you leave your house, so that you can make adjustments, you can make appropriate adjustments. Last but not least is to boost your immunity. Remember, during the rainy season, it is the perfect time for viruses and even bacteria to thrive. So you'll notice this when you have fevers, allergic reactions, and even other viral infections. So to remain healthy, you need to increase your immune system or immunity, immune status. And the basic way to do this is to increase your vitamin C intake. You can eat sprouts, you can eat fresh green vegetables, and even oranges to enrich your vitamin C. And also not to forget those who live in flood-prone areas. The best precaution to take is to leave those places, vacate those places, and go to higher grounds. Your safety comes first. So even if you are living in your own home, but it is an area that is prone to flooding, so during a heavy rain season like this, you can vacate that place and even rent somewhere. So after the rains are gone, you can come back to your house safe and sound, than to wait in your house and end up getting those devastating effects. So with that, I say thank you. So it is important to share this, and if you've watched this, please also you can share it with others. To those who have not subscribed, please do so. And with that, I say thank you. Let's meet in my next video.